Hi, friends. I come to you on Good Friday. Um, and I just wanted to start by saying that Good Friday feels a lot different. I'm sure it feels a lot different for you too. Um, just a little quick background. I have always, in a way, struggled with Easter because I was the kid who always noticed all of the hoopla and excitement and always felt a bit guilty that I didn't feel that incredible, ecstatic excitement myself on Easter morning. While I cognitively understood what Easter was all about for Christians, I didn't feel it. And that was always really hard for me and kind of a source of guilt or shame that I didn't share with anyone, maybe other than my mother. And sometimes that still follows me into adulthood where I know what I'm supposed to feel and how I'm supposed to celebrate, and yet I can't drum that up within myself in an emotional way. So here we are on Good Friday. It's dark outside. It's pouring rain in San Diego, and it's Good Friday, and it for once feels right. It feels right to have a day of darkness, to have a day where I was just saying this to my son last night, that when it rains, it kind of feels like the sky is crying. Um, and to be able to mourn and grieve and feel sad and be still in my soul. So for once, it feels fitting to be marking a day where Jesus died, and Christ followers thought that this was the end, that this was it, that there was no hope. And we know that there's hope, and that hope comes in metaphorically in 2 days with Easter. But Easter is going to look a lot different. We're not going to be able to be with a lot of people that we love and know. We won't get to be with our church communities face to face. For me, I have the added uh, bummer of my birthday is on Easter this year. So I don't get to celebrate my birthday how I would want to. And all of this feels very sad and almost like a lack of hope. So I'm just going to sit in this Good Friday, and I'm going to embrace um, the pain and the suffering and the darkness that is, and know that there is hope, that this too shall pass. This life and this pandemic, as we know it, will not last forever. But I'm thankful for a space to embrace the not yet. So that's my Easter encouragement for you. And I don't have a prompt that I need you to answer this week, although I do love hearing from you. But you're technically off today. I'm technically off, although this is a great day to catch up on work for me. You're off on Monday as well, which is why we have nothing going on. So we'll meet back on Wednesday for class work, not live class. Um, Also, as we're talking about the Easter break, just want you to know I still will be holding my weekly office hour on Zoom. I meet here for usually from 9 to 10. I get to see some of your faces every week, which is such a joy to me. This Monday, I will still be on at 9, but I will only be on from 9 to 9:30. I actually have a department meeting happening at 9:30, and you may not want to check in at all because it's technically your break. So just know that I'll be here, but only for a half hour. If you want to say hi, or if you have any questions that you need answered, especially as we have this paper coming up. So with that, let me share my screen and head into what's happening next week. So, I'm going to show you that in a second. So next week, we just have a Wednesday class, and what's coming up is your big Public Health Now paper and presentation. This is not a long paper. If you haven't looked at the rubric, please do so right away. But it's a 3-page paper where you're choosing any public health topic of interest to you. If you're sick of COVID, by all means, do something different. I don't mind what you do. I'm excited to learn from what you write. You're going to describe your problem, what that means for nursing specifically, and then you're going to offer 3 short recommendations for your problem, and each recommendation needs to follow a different level of prevention, so primary, secondary, and tertiary. In the end of the paper, you will talk about and before the end, here's the rubric right here. This will help me. So you're identifying public health implications, and along with your recommendations, I do need for you to identify at least one specific public health essential service that would be applied to your problem. These come from the wheel. Please note, this is where students most often lose points on this paper, besides writing and APA. Content-wise, this is where students always forget to specifically identify the public health essential service from the wheel. So please make sure you do that. 3 recommendations from a level of prevention. Please don't make those recommendations overly broad. Oftentimes students will say, we need to educate the public on such and such as their primary level of prevention. That's great. I need more. I need a specific example of how you would see that playing out. And the last piece of this nursing implications section is to discuss what's currently being done. So what current strategies are in place? Are there already programs? Is there a funding source for this? Are there any policies in place? So what is currently happening in regards to your problem? So that's it, 3 pages. Please make sure that you follow all of these scholarly writing and APA guidelines listed here. Just use your rubric like a checklist to make sure you've got it all. Another commonly missed thing is that students often will write about a topic and not cite a source, and that is considered plagiarism. We take that very seriously here, especially in the School of Nursing. So please, 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 if it is not something you have directly observed with your own eyes, you need to cite a source for that. Okay. As far as your presentation, you're going to be doing that. We usually do that in class. Instead, you're going to do it on a discussion board. You're going to take a video of yourself offering a formal presentation. Formal just in the sense that you're going to be sharing about your paper, that have the bullet points here, that the things that you need to mention. You don't have to dress up, but please prepare with eloquent and professional demeanor and language, 5 minutes or less. You will just be doing this in your team discussion board. I have it broken out into teams. And then the last piece of the rubric is that you are offering professional and constructive feedback to each member of your team. For each member, I need you to watch their video and respond with a strength that they had, an area for improvement, and something that you learned. And these strengths and areas for improvement can be related to their presenting style or the content itself. Okay. So let me just show that here for you in Canvas. So if I scroll down here, here's the actual presentation discussion board. You need to post by Wednesday night at midnight. That goes along with your papers due Wednesday by midnight. Your replies, so a reply to every person in your team, needs to be done by next Monday. So I'm giving you a little extra time for that. I also want to point out something that I think will be very helpful for you in Module 5 resources. If you scroll down to the bottom, I have just added what is called an APA paper template. This is something I usually offer my classes, both grad and undergrad, to help you with APA formatting. Now, I am still holding to the 6th edition. I know the 7th edition has just come out. We'll probably switch to that as a School of Nursing in the fall. So you're out of here for that one, or most of you are out of here. But for now, stick with the 6th edition. What this template is, I just created a template. So I gave you guidelines on how to set this up. This is straight from your APA manual, but I learned that many students do not access their manual. So cheat sheet for you talks about how to start your paper, the different headings, how to write a conclusion. There's a reference page. I put the 2 most commonly used types of references for my students. So journal article, whether it's paper or online, and then an organizational website. Most often people do not know how to cite these things, and they don't know who the author is. If it's an organizational website and there is no individual author listed, the author is the organization, such as CDC. Also commonly missed, people will say that CDC is the Center for Disease Control. That is an old title. That is not their name anymore. They are the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So please be accurate with that as our biggest public health organization. Let me know if you have any questions about any of these citing things here. At the bottom, I just have other helpful hints in writing your paper and following APA formatting. So I hope this is helpful for you. Again, it's listed in the bottom of Module 5. Okay. And other things that I just want to say, I'm trying to think of anything else I've missed on here. I don't think so. We got all of Module 5 so far. I have greatly enjoyed um, I've greatly enjoyed reading your take-home exams. I'm about halfway through with those. You guys have done incredible work. There will be a lot of A's, which I'm excited about. I know a lot of great learning has happened for you. I've loved reading your discussion boards and your debates. Thank you for being so engaging and for really taking the opportunity to learn so much about this pandemic and about how it connects to public health. So I'm loving that. I love seeing your faces. I love seeing your responses on the announcements. I've just really enjoyed engaging with you. And if you have any other feedback for me, keep it coming. I'm happy to learn how I can make this course better for you. Um, oh, I know what I wanted to share with you real quickly. Just always putting this on your radar. COVID-19 reporting. This is my Google Doc that I shared a few weeks back in an announcement where I talked about how this is going to be how I'm doing my Public Health Now sharing. So I'm just reminding you that there's always excellent things on here. Something that might be of particular interest to you is this article here from the New York Times. It talks about how COVID exposes inequalities among college students. So that's a super interesting article to see, you know, how it directly relates to you. Another thing Jess Rodwan put in her take-home exam, so I linked it here because she thought it might be helpful for all of us, I think so too, is an article called Your Guide to the Federal Stimulus Package. So if you're curious about how that might play out for you individually, that link is there. Other great articles as well. My sister, who now writes for the Fresno Bee, wrote this article that talks about how the eviction process works during an epidemic or during a pandemic. Also a great read, and I'm just super proud of my sister. So I realized that I wasn't sharing my screen through all of that. So go on to, let me share my screen really quickly with you. And this is it. COVID-19 reporting. It's my Google Doc that I shared a few weeks ago. And here's my sister's article about the eviction process. Here's COVID exposes inequalities among college students. And here's what Jess shared, the guide to your federal stimulus package. Anyways, thanks for listening. Take care. And if you do want to share anything on my announcement, I would love to hear if there's been a unique or special way that you were able to find to celebrate Easter. All right. Love to you all.